Classic heavy metal guitar. Guys, this is the most important genre of metal to learn on guitar, especially when it comes to playing rhythm guitar. So we're gonna go through 7 different classic heavy metal guitar exercises in this video. So if you don't have it in your hand, pause this video, go grab your guitar, and let's play some classic heavy metal together. Now, what do we mean by classic heavy metal? So this is like a mixture of some of the older forefathers of metal, like Metallica, the old Metallica style, Megadeth, mixed in with some of the British wave of music like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. Then you had bands in Europe and in Germany like Creator. So all of these bands kind of mashed together is really that classic heavy metal style of playing, although some of those genres are a little bit different from each other, but there's some really common threads throughout all of those bands, and that's the style of music we're gonna learn in this video. I'm gonna give you some really awesome riffs to learn. So let's get started. I'm gonna play each riff for you, in the full mix, and then we'll break it down. We'll bring it in close and we'll break it down note for note. All right, so we've got the intro. This is pretty simple. So all I'm playing here, and I'm in standard tuning, by the way, guys. All I'm playing here is just a typical E power chord, F, G, A. So it's... and I'm doing downstrokes and palm muting that. That's all it is, 4 chords, E, F, G, A. Now when I'm palm mute, when I'm downstroking the palm mutes, I am playing both strings. I'm hitting both strings to get that really full sound. Now before we go to that verse, I do this little riff here. And I kind of palm mute, I kind of lightly palm mute those notes. So those notes, that starts on that G note, that first string, 3rd fret. Then I go open 2nd string, and I just walk it up to 2 and 3. Then back to the G with a little bend. Let's try it again. Now for the verse, and actually this part is played like several times throughout the song, so this is like, a good percentage of the entire song here. But we're starting out with that A. What we're doing is we're kind of going back and forth between that A and the D string. Okay, so we're hitting it the first time just to start the verse, right? Then I'm gonna palm mute that open A note. So what I'm doing after I palm mute that open A string, I go back, and you can kind of keep your finger in that same position of the power chord, that, that 2nd fret on the 3rd string. So I palm mute that open A, then I hit that 2nd fret on the D string for the D string, and then I palm mute the open A again, but when I go back to that D string, I'm actually gonna hit the open note. So watch this. And once I hit that open note, I'm gonna come back down on the 2nd fret. So here it is. So here's how it sounds. I'm gonna speed it up just a little bit so you can kind of get the vibe of that part, okay? So we go through that little thing twice. We go through that twice, but then after that 2nd time, what we do is we just palm mute that, that A note. Or that A power chord rather. Then we go to the C, G, F. Now when we get to that F, so that part's pretty easy, right? C, G, go from that, those little riffs on the A, C, G, F. That part's simple. But when we get to the F, think in your head that we're doing the same thing we did with the A. And it's the exact same pattern. We're just in a little bit different places on the fretboard here. So check it out. Remember we did this. Okay, remember that pattern. We're just going to do it here on the F. Okay, so play your F power chord. That other note that we're hitting is actually on that second string, second fret. So I'm using my pinky finger, my first finger for that, you know, the first string, third fret. I'm sorry, first string, first fret. And then I'm using my pinky finger for that next string, the A string, third fret. That lets me use my third finger for the A string, second fret that we're gonna hit in between. See that? And we're just chugging back and forth on those two strings, just like we did with the A. Okay, now do that, then we're gonna go to a D. We're gonna play like what I call like the classic hard rock and heavy metal D. So for that D, and this is really simple, guys, I'm not playing a regular D though. I'm actually leaving that last string open. And I'm actually also hitting that A string, that open A string to start it, okay? It's that fifth note. Then I'm going to C, G again. So that's a quick chord change there. You're going from, you know, some little bit of riffing and palm muting and downstrokes to kind of an open chord, then back to two more power chords. So it's, see, the first time I played it just now, I kind of screwed up, you know, and it's kind of difficult to go from those open chords, you know, you're going from some palm muting, open chord, then back to some power chords there. So. Now this pre-chorus part, this is probably my personal favorite part of the song, because it's just fun to play. You know, this is bridging that verse and chorus together. So, you know, we're starting out on a standard, you know, E power chord there. So we hit it, we let it ring out briefly. We don't just jump right into the palm muting. We let it just ring out just for a second there, and then we start palm muting it. And then we're going to throw in an F and a G. So we're kind of going back and forth on that. So here it is. That's very typical, almost what some people might call like stock metal riff or metal riffs, and I hear some people say they're dad metal riffs or whatever, but it's just a really cool sound to throw in there in your songs. Now the little riff I do here, and I'm going to play that other part just so I can remember how it goes, because they all kind of fit together, but just pay attention to the little riff and I'm going to show you how to play that. You see, I added an extra couple palm mutes before I went to that riff, but the notes here. So I slide up, you know, on the first string, I slide up to that 6th fret. Once we slide up to the 6th fret, I go to the 5th fret on the A string. Then I just jump right back to that 6th fret on the first string and walk it down to the 5th fret. Now we're going to open it up a little bit with just an open E. Then I'm going to go 3-5. Try to get a little squill in there if you can. My gain's turned down on this thing right now because, you know, I'm doing this video, but now we play this riff again. That second time we do that riff is a little bit different and a little less notes there. So we're kind of starting out the same way, but we're skipping that part where we go to that open note. Okay, so it's... Now we go into the chorus of the song, and this is where it gets extremely simple. So all we're going to do first is we're just going to play power chords. We're going to play an A, an F, a C, and a G. So just like this. Okay, so that's what we're playing the first and third time, just to keep it simple here, okay? Now, let me show you what we're playing on the second and fourth time here. So after you play that A, F, C, G, now the second time, the second part of the chorus, we're just gonna play the A, F, and G. So we're skipping that C. Now here's where I throw in a little riff. So what we're doing, we're just palm muting on our G power chord, and we're going back and forth. Kind of the same concept, if you remember how we started the verse with that A, with a little choppy part, and we did that with the F as well. Kind of doing the similar pattern here on that G power chord. See how I've got it here? I'm jumping back and forth, palm mute. So you've got your regular G power chord. All I'm doing is I'm making sure that this first finger is barring those two strings, the E and the A string, okay, on the third fret there. So that way, when I have my pinky down here, or whatever finger you use for that fifth fret on the A string, just take it off. All right, so here it is without the palm mute. Maybe it sounds a little clearer. That's all it is, just a very quick, choppy little riff there. And then we go back to that A, F, C, G. Remember, the first and the third parts are the same. A, F, C, G. Now the fourth time, and this is where we kind of end the chorus here, or in that part of the chorus, we're gonna play the A, F, G again, but we're gonna do something a little different this last time around. So we're giving it like a little attitude with this little riff right here. And all I'm doing here is I'm on the second string, fifth fret, okay? And some of the notes we're gonna be playing around with here is on the second string is 5, 3, 2. Then the first string on the third fret. That's where we're landing. So I'm doing a little bit of bend. I'm doing, again, I'm not gonna get a squill here. And in the song, there's really not a squill, but there is a little bit of harmonic in there. So on that first and last note, you've got a little bit of that. So bend that just a little bit. I'm not bending all the way up. I'm just giving it just a little bit. I call it giving it just a little bit of that attitude, okay? So after I bend that, then we go here on the third fret, second string, and second. So we're just kind of hopping back and forth, on the second and third fret there, the second string, right? After we play that note on the fifth fret, and then before we go to our landing note, I like to call it, that's where we land on that first string, third fret. So let me play it slow again. Now we're going to go into another really cool riff right after the chorus, and this is kind of like a bridge or like a transition piece, between the chorus and to go back into the verse. So we're going to start out with, that E, heavy E palm muting, and you probably notice a little trend here. We're playing in the key of A minor for a little while, but then we switch to E minor. Then we go to the chorus, A minor. Now we're doing this little musical piece in E minor. So it kind of gives the song that nice contrast. So it's not the same entire key throughout the song. So anyway, just that's a little side note. So again, we go back to some heavy palm muting, and we're gonna have some choppy riffs in here as well. So what I'm doing here, again, like we've done in several other parts of the song, is I'm palm muting that E string, but when I get to these little riffs, these little single note riffs, I'm hopping back and forth between those notes on the A string that we're playing and that open E string that we're palm muting. See how I'm going back and forth? Then going back to palm muting that E string. Then we just throw in that little riff there, and that's just on the second, third fret of that second string, and then moving over to the third string, second fret. Then back to the A string, third fret. And then the second part of that little riff is real simple. It's just some power chords. We're just going to go the E minor, we're going to palm mute that again, the E, then go to an F, then go to a G, and then we're going to hit that little chromatic chord in there, and I'll show you how I play that. It sounds really, really cool. So F, G. Now we're basically going to hit a G sharp here, but what I'm doing is I'm going to keep that fifth note of my G power chord. See where my finger is right there? I'm going to keep that there. That's the second string, fifth fret, but I'm going to hit the first string, fourth fret. Kind of evil sounding, right? But it's a good transition, from going from that G to the A. So instead of going, we're doing this instead. And that goes back into the verse. So again. Now, this next part, this is the beginning of the guitar solo, okay? And, the guitar solo is split up into two different pieces here. So you've got this piece, and then the second half of the guitar solo is really just the music to the verse, the music for the verse that we've already learned. So I'm gonna show you these real simple chords here, and we're just kind of letting those ring out. We're gonna play an A, these are all power chords, just standard power chords, an A, then we're gonna go C, G, F, then we're gonna go C, G, then back to A, which again, that starts the music for the verse, which is the second half of the guitar solo music, okay? So this is all we're doing. That's it, real simple. A, let it ring out. C, G, F, let it ring out. C, G, then back to A, but then that, again, that's when we start the music for the verse for that second half of the guitar solo. Now for the riff that ends the song. There's one quick little riff here, and then song is over. So, we learned the solo part there. Then the song actually goes back into like the pre-chorus, chorus, and after the chorus, the last chorus there, it goes into the music for the verse again. However, when we end on an A power chord, but we do this little riff at the very end. So I'm going to show you what that is. And it's pretty simple for the most part. It's just kind of snappy with the alternate picking and palm muting. So I'm going to show you what that is. After we play that power chord, that A power chord, we're going to quickly move our first finger over to the second fret of the second string. And we're going to go up and back down. So the frets are going to be 2, 3, 5, then back to 3, 2. Okay? I'm palm muting that and I'm alternate picking that because remember, it's really quick and snappy. And then I'm going to go to the first string, third fret, and then just end on the A power chord. So here are the notes. Now, I want to tell you about this song you just learned how to play real quick. So this is actually a funny, comical song. I left the lyrics out of this video, of course, but I just posted this new song a couple of days ago before making this video called Post-Apocalyptic Toilet Paper Love Song. And of course, it's the metal version, the original version I wrote. But I posted this, of course, during the whole coronavirus outbreak, and people were just like hoarding toilet paper. And just thought it'd be just kind of funny to put something out there because this is kind of a serious time, So I'm like, let me try to make some people laugh because we have to laugh. We have to keep living, right? So anyway, that's the song you learned. I'm thinking, man, I really like the rhythms of this song, so I'm actually thinking about using it for something else now. But had several of you reach out to me saying, hey, I'd like to learn the tabs and like to learn how to play that song. 'Cause there's some cool, classic heavy metal style riffs. So. There it is. Actually, I'll post the link to the video up there if you guys want to check that out. And guys, if you want to support me in this channel and everything that I do, which I deeply appreciate, I've got a link in the description as well to my online shop. That's jasonstallworthshop.com. I just got this new design in. My designer just made this. It's the new Keep It Metal design. And these are bigger mugs. This is like the 15-ounce mug. I like to drink a lot, whether it's coffee, beer, or whatever. So I got that, and I've got t-shirts. Of course, I've got my CD for Masterpiece on that shop. So that really helps me out, guys, when you support me in that way. So I really, really appreciate that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you have any questions, by all means, please leave the comments. I always try to answer you guys back. And until the next video, keep it metal.